I'd be lying to say that I saw this coming, and this dramatic of a turnaround for the Indiana Pacers after a rough start to the season. But they have played great basketball as of late. They started the season 10-15, their first 25 games, just did not look very good, and since are 16-5 in their past 21. Playing really high level basketball and looking like the team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last season. Absolutely looking like a team that could challenge to win a playoff series or two this year as well. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but in all honesty, the main reason I think is their growth defensively. Health has helped as well, to be sure, but I just think as a whole, this is a totally different team since about the midpoint of December. So I want to break that down in this video. And impressive win tonight over a pretty feisty Detroit Pistons team. And these teams do not like each other at all. I mean, they really strongly do not like each other. Isaiah Stewart gets ejected tonight for cheap shotting Thomas Bryant. There was a ton of jawing back and forth pretty much all game, but Pascal Siakam put on a clinic, plus 32 in 31 minutes, 15-21, 4 of 7 from 3, 37 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and only 1 turnover. An absolute Pascal masterclass, not to mention Tyrese Halliburton with 38 and 7, again only 1 turnover as well, has been awesome as of late. Miles Turner, even 24 points, he's a +9, he knocks down 4 threes, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Just, you got so much contributions from so many different guys. Your stars making those plays tonight in Siakam, Halliburton, and Turner, but Ben Shepherd knocks down 4 threes. TJ McConnell with a 14-point first half to help get you off to a hot start. Just as a whole, a lot to like tonight about this Pacers performance without guys like Andrew Nembhard and Benedict Mathurin as well. But Thomas Bryant's been really, really big for this team. I mentioned that in my last video I did on the Pacers, but his addition as a backup center has been huge for this team after obviously they lost Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman super early in the year, both to torn Achilles. So being able to add that backup center in Thomas Bryant has been a massive, massive thing. He's a guy who I always thought was a real rotation big in Washington and in LA, and he's kind of floated on the fringes of the league for the last couple of years, but he has really found himself a real role again in Indiana and has played really, really well with that opportunity. Has been a huge piece of what they've been able to do lately, and I just like this team a lot. I think they're legitimately 10 deep with McConnell, Bryant, Jarris Walker, Obi Toppin, Ben Shepherd as bench guys. And then obviously you have your starting lineup of the other 4 dudes listed here. Then you got Andrew Nembhard and Ben Mathurin as well. Just a lot of real talent on this team, a squad that legitimately goes 10 and 11 deep, and is really, really talented across the board. Like I said, they're 16-5 in their last 21 games after this loss to Charlotte December 8th. They got a nice break because of the NBA Cup, and they have taken advantage of it ever since coming out the gates hot and playing really high level basketball with some good wins in there too. A win over Boston, a win over Cleveland, a couple wins over Detroit, destroyed San Antonio after a rough loss a couple days before in Paris. They killed San Antonio in Paris the next game. And I think overall the resiliency of this team as of late has been really impressive. I think they've been more physical. I think they've just been more dedicated and locked in defensively as a whole. And they've been more efficient offensively as well. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton had a really tough start to the season, but his efficiency is way up at this point. 56.5% from inside the arc and almost 36.5 from 3, 18 points, 8.7 assists to only 1.8 turnovers as well. A nearly 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Like, it's not perfect, but it's really, really good. His numbers still aren't quite as good as they were last season, but they've been very solid. Pascal Siakam with the best shooting season of his career, 41.5% on 4+ attempts from 3 a game, averaging 27.5 and 3.5 a game. Also a good playmaker for a power forward. Ben Mathurin has been a star talent as a scorer. I mean, he's not yet the evolved, finished version of player that he's going to be, but there's a lot of skill set and a lot of talent there. And he's an exciting offensive piece who plays with a ton of intensity and effort as well. I think Miles Turner is a little bit overhated in terms of people who call him soft. He's a really high level shot blocker. I think as an overall rim protector, he can be a little bit overrated at times, but lately I think he's played really well. 15.5 points, shooting 39% from 3. He's a legit athlete as well. Could be a little bit better rebounder potentially at his size, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me too much. And then, I mean, they get real contributions from guys like Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, who's the best point of attack defender on the team and is a crucial guy to have back in the rotation now, also shooting 50% from three this year, admittedly in only 10 games played, but it's really big to have him back added into the mix. Defensively, Obi Toppin, same story. TJ McConnell, the only short white dude in the league who can't shoot threes, but damn if he's not a hooper in his own right, and a pest defensively as well, makes impact plays happen. And Jarris Walker, I mean, the numbers aren't insane. He's only averaging 6 points a game, but shooting 39% from three, another high level, high effort point of attack defender. Again, there is a lot to like about this Pacers rotation. And Thomas Bryant has shot 43.5% from three since he became a Pacer. He's been awesome as well. There's just a ton to like about this Pacers team in terms of depth, in terms of talent. And after a really rough start to the season, again, in their first 25 games, they're 10-15 with the 6th or 7th worst defensive rating in all of basketball. And the funny thing is, for a team that was like the best offensive team in the league and one of the best offensive teams in NBA history last season, even their offensive rating was only 19th best in basketball to start the season. They were just not good on either end of the court, and it put them in the bottom 8 in the league in net rating. They just looked like a bad team, plain and simple. They were playing like a bad team, and the results reflected it at 10-15. But since that break for the NBA Cup, since that 5-day break, starting December 13th of their next game, the Pacers have the 8th best defensive rating in basketball, which is a huge turnaround from 23rd, and their offensive rating is up to 5th best in basketball as well, giving them a net rating of 7, which is 4th best in the NBA in that time. And look, that is those numbers, high level defense, high level offense. That's the type of stuff that is going to produce winning basketball. And it puts them only behind the 3 top contenders in basketball in the Thunder, Cavs, and Celtics. That's really, really impressive. Like, I just think you can't say enough about how impressive that is. Not to mention, in that time frame, they're tops in the league in assist to percentage, top 6 anyway. Their assist to turnover ratio is number 1 in basketball, which is something that Halliburton running the offense is really, really effective at as well. They've just done a lot of things very, very well lately, and just have really transformed their season on both ends of the court. It's been really impressive to watch, and it's going to be fascinating to see if they can keep it up as the season progresses, as we get towards the playoffs, because they're still only the 5 seed in the East, although to be fair, they're only a half game back of the Bucks. And despite the talent that I think the Bucks have, there's some inconsistency there that the Pacers just really haven't distributed recently. I think there's a real path to a top 4 seed, home court advantage, and real competitiveness in not just the first round of the playoffs, but like, let's just in theory say they ended up with the 4 seed. Indiana Milwaukee in the first round is going to be an interesting series, first and foremost. That was the series we got last year. Now Milwaukee was super injured, and that impacted that team significantly, but that would be an interesting series this year. But if they were to make it past Milwaukee, I'm not going to sit here and act like Indiana Cleveland wouldn't be an interesting series either. Like, Cleveland's a really good basketball team, but I just think that the way that the Pacers have played over the last month and a half or so is good enough to compete against any team, because they're one of the best offensive teams in basketball, and they've been so improved defensively as well. They have real size, they have real versatility roster wise. All their guys can shoot. There's just a lot to like about this Pacers roster, and I think they have really turned the corner on their season in a sustainable fashion. Looks like this is going to last. It's not a hot stretch at this point. It is a team that is a high level basketball team playing like it on a night-to-night basis, and they have turned around their season and deserve a ton of credit for doing so. So with that being said, that's going to do it for the video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.